think it is to talk about insecurity, or the subject of insecurity is our next speaker, who's going to talk about actionable security intelligence for IT practitioners. Our speaker today is Hitesh Raul. He's manager for enterprise pre-sales with CyberRoam. And Hitesh has over 15 years of experience in IT security and has been with CyberRoam for more than 8 years. And he has a lot of experience in solving security issues for various kinds of customers in BFSI, manufacturing and education. And of course, he holds a number of certifications in networking and in the security space. So please welcome on stage Mr. Hitesh Raul, who's going to talk to you about actionable security intelligence.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my duty, as he rightly said, is to wake you up by making you insecure. So I have a topic like that. So, talking about technical disruptions. So we all know what it is all about. It is something wherein the newer solutions, they get replaced, or rather I would say displaced is the right word, by the older one. Okay, now this disruptions happens in a year's time, in a month's time, or even in a day's time these days. So it is equally important for an organization to have a security solution, to design a solution which can take care or cater such type of disruptions that are happening in the industries today. Just check this out. It's on. So what does this reporting solution does? It helps you to, it collects the log from each and every module. It displays the log. It helps you in doing a forensic analysis. It helps you in doing the compliance management and your log management as well. So you can have these reports. You can take a printout of that report. You can save it as a PDF. You can save it as an HTML, so that you can use the appliances to the best, understanding what fine-tuning has to be done. Now we were talking about one feature called as a UTQ, that is a user threat quotient. So here basically the point is, can you just spot the risky users in your organization? I might be having 100 or 1,000 odd users, but then I want to spot the riskiest user of all. So what do we give you is a user threat quotient. So basically, what this engine does is it picks up an event from each and every module. Okay, it correlates each other and give you a list of top 50, top 100, top 10 users who are risky or who are accessing something that they are not allowed to access. So this is a very intelligent piece of the module which understands the risk level of the website, the application, and the bandwidth consumed, and then creates a bubble graph for you. And the moment they click on any one of the bubble, what I get is why that particular user falls into that particular segment of this quadrant. Okay, bandwidth is something wherein I can give a bandwidth to a user, to a website, to an application, or even to a group of users. Business continuity, talking about it, you have to ensure that if one of the appliances fail, there should be other appliance in high availability or in the cluster that can keep the business rolling. At the same time, if I'm having a multiple ISP links, I have to ensure that even if one of the link fails, the other link should be taking over the failed link. The platforms and the products that we work on, we have the appliances on the physical, as a part of a physical hardware, as well on the virtual, let it be on the UTM front, the reporting front, as well as the management. So everything is available as a hardware appliance, as well as an appliance that can work on your existing VMware or Citrix or Linux servers. Introduction of the company is, we are now a Sophos company. We have been taken over by Sophos. So the presence we have is in more than 125 countries. Within India, we have more than 550 employees that works on the research and development of this product. And we are the company with patented identity-based solution, that is a user-based solution, rather than going with the traditional IP-based policy configurations. And the world's only one security company to have both the certifications of ISO 20000 and Six Sigma onto the support centers. Okay, I'll just, the training and certification is something that we keep on doing for our customers to understand the product better and use it in a better way. The certifications, we already have EL4, we are ISO certified, we have ICSA certified for high availability and for firewall, and we have various checkmark certifications on each and every module we have. Highlighting some of the clientele that we have in each and every sectors, let it be BFSI, manufacturing, government, telecom, pharma. So we are present in each and every vertical across the globe. Hotels, some other clientele. Okay, now we are talking about the change in the technological trend. We were talking about various different features in the second slide that I presented about the changes can happen in a day's time or maybe in a record time. So what we have done is, we have worked very hard from past 1 year to come up with a combined solution of Sophos and Cyberome. We call it as a Copernicus version, which has certain features which makes us out of the box. One is the advanced threat protection that we have included into this particular firmware. So even the best part is the existing solutions, so existing boxes would be able to give these features on the firmware upgrade. The email protection, that is if I want my email to be encrypted while going outside, is something that I can do. The remote Ethernet device, now this is something wherein you can replace a standard MPLS link with just a simple box we call it a remote Ethernet device. It is something which is plug and play, no configurations required. I can have a Cyberome appliances in the head office. In the branch office, the moment I plug the cable into it, it will pick up the configurations and start working. So basically what we say is it is a substitute to an MPLS link for the branch locations. Wireless controllers and the Project Galileo. This is something wherein whatever Cyberome, Sophos, utility or the products you have, everything would be talking to each other, giving you updates. So no matter wherever I go, whatever I do, I would be protected under a single banner, under a single umbrella, using this cloud-based Galileo service. Taking you to the Sophos product that we have this endpoint bundles, wherein you have this antivirus, you have this USB protections, you have this email services. Again, something wherein the encryption solutions that we have, endpoint control, the mobile control. So whatever you talk about the security, let it be the mobile security, you talk about the data encryption, you talk about the hard drive encryption, you talk about the cloud-based security. So that is provided by the combination of Sophos and Cyberome. So I think that is all of it. Any questions if you have, you can just raise it across. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sophos already has these features of advanced threat protection, email protection, RED, wireless. Is it that it's only Galileo which will get, I would say, implemented post-merger?
No, basically, these features are, again, as you rightly said, were a part of a Sophos and were not a part of a Cyberome appliances. So what we are giving to our existing Cyberome users are with the same box, they can avail all these features into it. And then we have binded this with the existing Cyberome UTM features that we had. ATP with content filtering that we have. Again, ATP with the application filtering and the web filtering that we have with the IPS that we have. So this modules are incorporated as a part of a Cyberome and the Sophos versions, which will be working together to give you a better performance into this.
This is yet to ship or it is already shipping?
The beta version is on. The release expected date would be maybe November, mid-November somewhere. So already we have started giving it to the customers to evaluate it so that we can get a better feedback of what the requirement of the users are.
Okay, thank you.
While describing IPS, you have mentioned layer 8 security. What is that?
See, basically that is again something that we say we have a layered security. Generally in the OSI models, we have OSI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everything works on the standard 7 layers of the OSI model. So whenever a security or a network or a firewall is designed, it has to go across all the 7 layers. So what we do, we call it as a layer 8, as a user base. We make a user sit over all these layers. So routing can be a user based. The bandwidth management can be a user based. The firewall rule, generally what we do in a firewall rule, I say source is this IP, destination is this, allow it or block it. What I can do here with a layer 8 is user is this, source would be a user, destination would be an IP address, I can allow a block it. So what happens basically if I have a DHCP scope where my IP address keeps on changing, or if a single computer has been shared by many number of users, so in that case, I can assign a policy, or I can define the entire UTM policies, as I said, firewall, routing, your link management, or your application filtering, or your web filtering. In that case, you can bind it to a user. So tomorrow, even if I change my IP address, the same policies would be binded to me rather than having a different policy set there. And again, the reports that you would be getting, it would be on the base of the usernames. So irrespective of whatever IP a user uses, it would be, the policy would be roaming along with them all the way.
Another question is about user threat quotient. Can you just describe it further?
See, Cyberome, what we give is, we give you a web and application filtering logs. So that will give me the logs on a certain website, to which websites I am hitting, what websites I am accessing, what applications I am accessing, what IPS parameters I am using. So what happens is, for example, I hitting on a website like facebook.com 1,000 times. Okay, that might not be that vulnerable as compared to my single hit to a website that has potential virus. Okay. So what this UTQ does, it understands the severity of an attack or the severity of a user access. So it will not consider 1,000 hit of Facebook as vulnerable, but it would consider one hit on the vulnerable website, and it will meter it on the top of the gauge so that you get a consistent report of who is doing what in your network. So this is basically the combination. It will pick up the reports of IPS, antivirus, application filtering, web filtering, bandwidth management, club it together and give you a graph of a user. So that is a user threat quotient, to what threat quotient the user belongs to. And then the moment you click on any one of the bubble, you get to know what website he's accessing, what application risk level he's accessing, what bandwidth he's consuming. So everything would be consolidated into a single screen.
Can it be defined? I mean, what all site I want? Can a user define what all site are risky for my? I mean, I can define and then get the.
Yes,
report.
you can do that. You can make a website fall in place of, because if I belong to an automobile company, maybe YouTube or Facebook would be, or the automobile website might be a priority for me. That won't be the case into a banking segment. So you can define the category. You can define if this website is unhealthy for you, healthy for you, productive for you, or non-productive for you. That is something that you can customize.
Any other question? Yes, so priority-based also you can like it.
Yes.
For example,
yes.
for automobile industry, he might be, getting the more bandwidth when he accesses the automobile kind of a
Yes,
websites.
I can do that. I can say that this particular website, this particular application, this set of users, whenever they log in, they should be getting a higher bandwidth.
Okay.
And then I can distribute that bandwidth. I mean, if I am a CEO of a company and I have been allotted somewhere like 1 Mbps of the bandwidth, so I do not want, if I am not in the company, that bandwidth should go waste.
Okay.
So that would be distributed among other users. The moment I log in, I would fetch the bandwidth from the overall cap I have.
Thank you.
Single box will does all this functionality like your protective threat protection, real-time visibility, all these things you mentioned. This single box will
It's a
perform all
single
this.
box. It's a
So
single
will that not impact the performance of the box?
No, that is what I started the presentation with, the fastpath technology basically.
Yeah.
So what we define in a box, see, we
Because
basically
it is doing
works-
IPS, IDS, and user bandwidth management and all those functionalities. So all this thing would not put a load on the system and would not impact the performance?
No, it does not, because we work on a multi-core technology basically. So we have 16 cores, 32 cores, 64 cores, depending on the model you select. So every particular core is functioned to take care of a particular model that you are enabling. So there would be a dedicated module for IPS, there would be a dedicated module for your bandwidth management, there would be a dedicated module for your firewalling, for your IPS, for your DDoS attack prevention. So every module is capable of handling that much amount of request whenever you enable it.
But then it is not that risk we are getting into a single point of failure across all these layers.
Not actually, as I said, it's a multi-core. So every core functions
But it
the
is a
way
single
it is.
box.
It's a single box. So that is
So
the
I
reason.
need to go for HA.
Yes, that is the reason we have to go for an HA. Because if single box fails, then everything goes down.
Everything goes for a toss.
Everything goes for a toss. Yeah. Back. Thank you. So I have a pretty contradictory statement on the screen. So internet will disappear. That is what Eric Smith says. So can I have some hand raised in the air who do agree to what Mr. Smith says here? Okay, only one. Anyone here else thinks that internet would be disappearing? Okay. So if you see the logic behind this, what he means is, the presence of internet in the coming years. Something wherein the home appliances you use, okay, the automobiles you travel, even the office equipments in that case, everything would own an IP address. So everything would be talking to each other, and they will act the way you want it. So the internet would be present as a basic amenities in our life. Just like we have air, we have water, we have fire. So that would actually composite a basic part of our life. So that is what it means to. So the internet would be growing to such a great extent that it will be present everywhere. So we would not even feel its presence. Okay. Now again some interesting images. I'm again taking you into a Stone Age basically. Yellow pages, camcorders, transistors, Google Maps, the maps basically. So this things were a part of a basic needs, some years back. Life without a yellow pages or a transistor or maps was something that was not possible. So this everything has been replaced by what today? A simple smartphones. Okay, correct? I don't think there would be anyone here present who would be using any one of these yellow pages, carrying around everywhere, having a big map, a pen along with them, marking the directions, tracking the directions. They're all absolute. So what it means, what's hip in 2015 January can be a yawn in February 2015. So it hardly takes any time to convert the technology or to disrupt the technology here. So I won't even be surprised if Monday morning I go back to the office and I see that whatever presentations I have seen or whatever presentation I have given, it is absolute. There is something new that is coming in. So today's disruption can happen, as we said, it can happen in a month, it can happen in a days, or even happen in a record time. So that is what we are coming to, the IoT, the Internet of Things. So just to wake you up, I have a very small video here. If you can just play it.
By now, you may have heard the term Internet of Things. Sounds interesting, but what does the Internet of Things actually mean? IoT is an evolution of mobile, home, and embedded applications that are being connected to the Internet, integrating greater compute capabilities and using data analytics to extract meaningful information. Billions of devices will be connected to the Internet, and soon, hundreds of billions of devices. As related devices connect with each other, they can become an intelligent system of systems. And when these intelligent devices and systems of systems share data over the cloud and analyze it, they can transform our businesses, our lives, and our world in countless ways. Whether it's improving medical outcomes, creating better products faster with lower development costs, making shopping more enjoyable, or optimizing energy generation and consumption. Here's an example of the big picture. Imagine an intelligent device such as a smart traffic camera. The camera can monitor the road for congestion, accidents, and weather conditions, and communicate that status to a gateway that combines it with data from other cameras, creating an intelligent citywide traffic system. Now, imagine that intelligent traffic system connected to other citywide transportation systems, which get data from their own intelligent devices, creating an ever larger intelligent system of systems. The really big possibilities come from analyzing the end-to-end data across that system of systems. For example, let's say the city's intelligent traffic system detects massive congestion due to an accident. That insight can be sent to the citywide transportation system, which can analyze the accident's impact on other city systems. Recognizing the accident is near the airport and 2 city schools, it could notify those systems so they can adjust flight and school schedules. You can also analyze and derive optimal routes around the accident and send those instructions to the city's digital signage system to guide drivers around the accident. And that's just one example of the potential benefits that can happen when intelligent devices share insight with other systems, forming ever-expanding systems of systems. But how do we get there?
Pretty interesting. So, what is the takeaway from this video? We won't be able to give reasons for reaching late to the office once this is implemented, basically. Okay, so what does it mean for the security industry today with this? More number of devices, okay, giving rise to more number of threats. More the internet penetrates, more the applications move onto the cloud, more the systems, definitely the threats are going to be more. So that is going to be the basic topic of the presentation, how to cater such type of threats, what actionable security we have to take for such evolving technology today. So what, as in CIOs or administrators or key decision makers, what basic things you need to know here? One is the solution that you go ahead with should be very proactive, since the threats are coming every day in and out. So the solution should be smart enough to understand the newly coming threats. Let it be from the inside threats, it can be from the outside threat. It can be coming through an USB port, through an internet, through a media, physical media, anything. At the same time, the visibility, to understand who is doing what in your network, where exactly the resources are tending to move, in case of newly applications that has been released. Thinking about in case tomorrow you want to move your infrastructure on a cloud or a virtualized platform, is the security solution that you have, is it smart enough to even cater the cloud-based applications, the BYODs that are coming into the picture? Performance is again a key here, since the number of handheld devices are increasing. Every user might be having a mobile phone, a tablet, as well as a computer. So this numbers, is your security solution capable enough to handle, is high in performance to handle such type of increase in the user counts that would be a part of our organization? Manageability should be easy enough, so that in case if I want to change anything, if I'm planning to move anything from my premises onto a cloud or a virtual platform, the solution should be smart enough and should be easily manageable without making much of a changes into it. Compliance also today it's a basic part of a security, wherein auditors comes, the security people comes, wherein we have to give them the compliance report. Let it be a banking segment, food industry segment, or health segment in that case. The business continuity, making sure no matter whatever happens, you having 2, 3, 4, 5 number of internet connectivity, you should be rest assured that irrespective of whatever happens, your business goes on. There should not be any link failure. There should not be any device failure. The performance should not hamper at any given point of time. And the user threat quotient. Now, this is something wherein I need to find out who are the risky users in my organization. I might be having 10, 20, 100, or 1,000 odd users into my network. So catching hold of a single user is absolutely important. These are the top 10 risky users into my organization. So that is something which is required as a part of actionable security today. So first we'll look into this high performance security. What we have done is we have worked hard on something we called as a fast path technology. Now this is something which delivers an extended increase in the throughput for this range of appliances we have. Okay. Now just to give an example, whenever we talk about the security solutions, let's say firewall, I might be having 100 odd rules in the firewall. So what generic the system does is, whenever there is a traffic flow through a particular security solution, it cross-checks each and every rule that I have created. Rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3, rule number 100. And once the pattern matches, the source matches, or the destination matches, whatever I have defined, then there is an action that is taken depending on what I have created. So this is what is basically improvement that we have done. What this does is it caches each and everything that I do or what the users do. So the reachability, the performance directly raises up to a certain extent because of that. So the caching becomes less, the performance increases, the throughput increases. So having a high-end optimized IPS, having a high-end antivirus performance, because these are the keys of the security today. The solution should not be there that the moment I enable an antivirus into the system, the performance goes down. That is the basic observation in the market today. So understanding, only high firewall throughput is not that important, but also we have to have a look at what is the IPS performance that you are getting, what is the antivirus performance you are getting, because every packet are moving into an HTTPS 2 stage. Even Google, there are very few sites that are working on a standard HTTP-based protocol. So the moment you access those type of sites which are secured, you have to understand that what is the overall throughput or what would be the performance of the system once you enable all these features. So talking about the fast part, this is just a glimpse of the firewall throughputs that we have achieved with the help of this technology. So the same systems which were working on 60 gig of throughput now gives 160 gig of the throughput. So we might be coming up with some more firmwares into which this 160 on the same appliance might raise to 200 gig, 250 gig, 300 gig. So the overall thing here is you do not have to change your existing solution in this case. With the newer technology working on the same systems, we can keep on coming up with the increased throughputs, the increased performance, the increased feature list into this. So this is, I think, one of the prime important things that we should understand is proactive threat protection. Now, certain things, intrusion prevention system is one of them, which works on a protocol anomaly basically. So what we give you is a layer 8 IPS policy configurations. Now generally, there's traditional firewalls if you talk about, it works on the source-based IP and the destination-based IP. Even when I apply an IPS policy or an antivirus policy in that case, that is binded to an IP address. But what we are talking about is a user-based policy, so that I can bind the policies to the user in place of an IP address. So that gives me a liberty of no matter wherever the user moves, whatever IP he carries, he would still be binded to the policy that I apply. So in case of any outbreak, I can easily catch hold of a user than an IP address. Or else what I have to do? I have to search for an IP address, and spoofing an IP address is a minute's job today. IP address, MAC address. So there is where we talk about the layer 8 security. That is intrusion prevention system with a layer 8 security. So 100 users, I can have 100 IPS policies binded to the user and not to the IP address here.